Hello everybody, I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. And today, I know it's a little overdue, but I figured I'd bring you a playthrough of Unmatched. And this is an expansion or expand alone because you could buy it and play by yourself or with two people. You don't need the full game to play it, but this is Unmatched Robin Hood versus Bigfoot. And it's by Mondo Games and Restoration Games. It's kind of a collaboration between the two. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Obviously, I have it set up for 2 players because this is the 2-player board. A 4-player board, slightly bigger. And we have our first player already set up and our second player. You pick the first player by whoever is the youngest, which, fair or unfair, that's how you pick your first player. All right, once you pick your first player, they can choose the character they want to use, place them on the board. Next player places their hero on the board, and then their sidekicks. I'm trying to remember the names. So they place their hero, then they place their sidekicks, hero, then sidekicks. They take their deck of cards, they give it a good shuffle, then they draw 5 cards. Unfortunately, Bigfoot got all the same kind of cards. All right, so they're both set up. You get your dials and you set it to your max power for that character. So Bigfoot has his own dial, and he also has the Jackalope's dial. He has 1 companion. Robin Hood over here has his health dial, and then each of his sidekicks, because there is no dial, they're 1 health point. Now, how do I know all this stuff? Well, we get these handy dandy little cards right here, which are really great. And they tell you your character, they tell you what their attack ability is, and even says right here, all right, hero, attack. So Bigfoot's melee, his strength, right? His starting strength is 16. This gives you your move, and it shows you the arrows both ways. These are done actually quite well. So it tells you Bigfoot and the Jackalope move 3. And then you have Bigfoot's special ability, which his is at the end of your turn. If there are no opposing fighters in Bigfoot's zone, you may draw a card. So you'd be able to draw a card. Then you have the Jackalope. You have his health. Is it a 6 starting health? He's a melee, is his attack. So that gives you that information. As opposed, we'll just go over it really quick, is we have Robin Hood's card. Robin Hood is ranged. He has a health of 13. Him and the Outlaws, I'll keep calling them the Merry Men because I just keep doing it. Robin Hood and the Outlaws get a move 2, right? I already said ranged. So Robin Hood's special ability is after you attack, you may move your attacking fighter up to 2 spaces. I call this the fart ninja attack. You go and make your cloud and you disappear, right? Attack, make your cloud disappear. The fart ninja attack. All right, so the Outlaws, they're melee, so they don't have range. And then it says starting health times 4, but it shows you, if you can see, the 4 little discs. So each one has 1 health. So there's your starting health. Now, how this game is played is by doing actions, playing cards. Playing your cards allow you to scheme, they allow you to move, they allow you to attack, and they allow you to defend. So, on the reference card, we'll go over the different things that you can do. So right here, lots of great information. I think they do a great job as a player aid. This is a really easy game to get into, to teach, and for a beginner to gaming, understand, right? So on your turn, it says you must take 2 actions. So you have to take at least 2 of these actions. You could take 2 of the same actions if you want, right? And it reminds you, don't forget your player's special ability. Awesome. Down here, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. At the end of your turn, discard down to 7 cards. So you start with 5. Your starting hand's 5. You can have up to 7. And you can put more cards in your hand, but you have to discard your cards down to 7 by the end of your turn. Now, how that hurts you is the discard pile is not shuffled again, right? And when the discard piles, or when you're not discard, but when your main deck is gone, right? And something makes you draw a card, like moving, you have to draw a card, it's mandatory. Or some of your cards you play tell you you have to draw a card, or it might say you may, but some of them tell you you have to draw a card. And you don't have any cards to draw because they're all in your discard or your hand, you lose 2 points. And it's called being exhausted. So it sets the game up so it's fairly fast paced. And the further you get along, the closer you have to watch your cards. So discarding a card is a very important thing to think about. You don't just discard it because you're going to get it back later, right? So let's go ahead and go through what you do. So on your turn, you have to do 2 of these actions. So you either maneuver, which means you draw a card, and that's mandatory. You have to draw a card. And it says move your fighters. This is optional. When you maneuver, you don't necessarily have to move your fighters. And then it says you may discard 1 card to boost your move. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's say Robin Hood wants to move for his first action. So he could move his fighters up to 2 spaces, right? And then, well, first, sorry, I messed up. So Robin Hood wants to maneuver first. He has to draw a card, all right? He takes that card and he puts it into his hand, all right? So he draws a card. And then it's up to him if he wants to maneuver. And all of his people, his hero and his sidekicks, all get a move. And their movement, right, is 2. So if we get down here what boost means, so if you look at the cards, every single card, and we'll go over what everything's on the card, has a boost number, right? And that's how many extra moves you can use. But you discard that card to boost. And that goes back into the discarding. Do I want to risk discarding a card to be able to move a little further? So that's maneuver. Draw a card, mandatory. Move, optional. Boost if you want. That's another optional thing. The next thing that you can do is you can scheme, right? And it gives you these little icons, and we'll go over those in a second and show you the icons. So it allows you to scheme. And what a scheme does is you play the card and you go through the information that it tells you to do on that card. So the card gets you special abilities, lets you do certain things. Bigfoot has one where you can run through even enemy fighters up to 5 spaces. It's really fun. All right. So then you attack. So you can attack with either the red explosion or this purple explosion, half shield, right? So you attack. And how you go about attacking, we can do that really quick, is both players, let's say Robin Hood decided to move, then he decides he wants to attack, right? So he picks a card, he puts it face down, all right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's say he moves to the Merry Men and he wants to attack Bigfoot. So what Bigfoot can do is Robin Hood said, I want to attack. He puts down his attack card. Bigfoot can look through his card, and lucky enough for him, he has all these cards that have attack and defend. He can say, okay, I'm going to put that one down. All right. Once both players put the cards down, they reveal, bang, and then you look. So Robin Hood, well, it was an outlaw, attacked for 2, and I'm going to call him Sasquatch sometimes, but Bigfoot defended for 2. So that means Bigfoot won that engagement because he took no damage. Now, if the outlaws would have given any damage, then the outlaws won that engagement. And their cards, there's certain things that will happen or could possibly happen. This is a bad show of it, but there's certain things that can happen if you win battles, right? So if you are an attacker and you cause your opponent to lose some points, you won the battle. If you're the defender and you lose no points, you win the battle. And that kind of helps you there. So that is the attack. So the 3 things that you can do is you can maneuver, draw a card, mandatory, optional, move, and boost. You can scheme, and you can attack. Those are the 3 things that you can do with your cards. All right. So that's how this game is played, is by doing 2 actions on your turn. You do 2 of the actions. Mandatory that you have to do 2 of the actions, right? And then you can choose through here. All right, now let's talk about the cards really quick. I had them set up all nice to show you guys because I thought I was being high speed. Okay, so let's just look at the first card right here. So we have some information. You have the shield. What a shield means is defend. It also gives you blue to let you know. It gives you how many points you can defend for. And then it tells you who can use this card. This card, anybody can use. So, there I go with the Merry Men, an outlaw, or Robin Hood can use this card. Either of them can use this card, right? Then you have the boost value. You got the pre-art. Then you have the title of the card, which is Defenders of Sherwood. And then you have the action of the card. So the action, this is after combat. This means once combat's over. Draw 1 card. Return a defended outlaw return a defeated outlaw, if any, to any space in Robin Hood's zone, right? So we'll talk about zones here in a second. But so what this tells you is if you play this, you get to draw a card. This is actually a really good card. You play it as a defense. You get to also draw a card, and if one of these guys were killed, right? So Sasquatch or Jackalope, sorry, Bigfoot or Jackalope killed one of them, you could take one of them and put them back into any of Robin Hood's zones, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So there's a defense card, right? You also have a attack or defend card. Oh, I should have went back. I skipped, sorry. The last thing on here, it's really small, so I'll try to move closer, is you have who the card's for, what deck it's for, the Robin Hood deck, and how many of these cards are in here, in your deck. And it's good to know because helps you decide when to spend this card. Like this one only has 2. The stronger cards usually only have 2 in there. But you can have 3, 4, 3, right? So the last thing on there tells you what deck this card goes to and how many of those cards are in that deck. So the next card, let's go ahead and look at. This is the attack or defend card, right? Same thing. You can attack or defend for 1. Anyone can use it. You could use it as a boost card by discarding it for 2 extra spots. This one's called regroup. After combat, draw 1 card. If you won the combat, draw 2 cards instead. And remember what we were talking about. If you're the attacker and you hit your opponent for a point, you win. If you're the defender and your attacker doesn't take any points from you, you win. So you get to do, if you've won it, you get to draw 1 more card. All right, then you have the straight attack card. And once again, it's attack. You got the red, it's for 2. Only outlaws can use it, right? Highway robbery. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. Ignore its defense value, right? Then you have, it's a Robin Hood deck, and you have 4 of these in here. Now, outlaws, only an outlaw can use this card to attack. You can use this card to boost later on if you want. If all the outlaws are dead and Robin Hood's running around, the only thing this card's good for is that extra boost in movement. So there's that. Then you have the scheme card, which is the lightning bolt in yellow. Robin Hood can use it. There's the title, Steal from the Rich. You can use it as a boost for 3. It says, draw 1 card, then choose an opponent. They may choose to discard 1 card, which hurts them in a way, right? Because if they don't have cards, if they get to a point where they can't draw cards, they take 2 damage. If they do not, you can draw 1 more card. It's a way to get more cards into your hand, right? And then it's a Robin Hood deck, and there's 3 of them, and then there's 2 of them in here. So that's basically the different kind of cards you're going to run into in here. All right, the last thing, or one of the last things I want to talk about here is the zones. So it's color-coded for zones. So Robin Hood is standing here, and you notice it's gray. So he has ranged, and in range, he can hit any zone that he shares. So he has a gray, he can shoot here, 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 because it's gray. Now, if he's on one of these spaces, right, he would have 3 colors. He can shoot in any of the gray, he can shoot in any of the brown, and he can shoot in any of these beige colors. So that's what a zone is. So let's say from before, someone's out, you played that card where you can bring in one of your outlaws. I keep wanting to say merry men. You could put in a zone that your hero occupies. So he's technically occupying 3 zones. So you can put your outlaw here, you can put him here, or you can put him here. It all depends. So you could put your outlaw anywhere in a zone. And same over here, you see Sasquatch, sorry, Bigfoot, he's in the brown and green, but he's a melee attack. But this is how zones work. And you go back and forth. First player goes, second player goes, first player goes, second player goes, until someone's dial, which is right here, gets all the way down to 0. All right. Once their dial gets down to 0, they're dead. To win the game, you have to defeat your opponent's hero. That's it. You don't have to defeat all their sidekicks, just the hero. If you defeat the hero, you win the game. So this is a really fast-paced game. I'm glancing over at the box and I don't see it. 20 minutes, right? I think the 4-player game says 20 to 40 minutes. It's designed to be really fast-paced. And I'll do a review on this, so I'll save some of this. So it's a fast-paced game. Your movement and your attack is based on your deck. So you got a deck of cards and you're playing cards, right? So you can look at it as kind of hand management in a lot of ways. And then you got some cool minis that run around and you get to fight each other. And that's basically Unmatched. A fast-paced skirmish game for 2 to 4 players. We obviously have the 2 players set up. where you have your heroes, and you have lots of crazy heroes. Like you have Sasquatch, and you have Robin Hood. Let me spin that one around. You have Robin Hood, and I have all the other sets, or we have all the other sets, except for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, just because I wasn't really interested. So you have like King Arthur and Medusa and Alice in Wonderland, or Alice from Alice in Wonderland, not Alice in Wonderland, Sinbad. You have Ingen from Jurassic Park, and the raptors are, I thought they were velociraptors, but I guess raptors. Then you have Beowulf and Little Red Riding Hood, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Invisible Man, Dracula. Who am I forgetting from that one? It's right over my shoulder, but of course it's not showing. Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes. So you have all these different heroes, and they all are interchangeable. You can play with all the heroes. Well, up to 4 people, and you can choose any of the heroes. They're coming out with Marvel ones. There's a Legends of Battle of Legends Volume 2, which will bring you more. One of them's Bloody Mary. I can't remember what the other ones are. So you can mix real life people and mythical people, and you can battle it out by putting down cards, by moving, by scheming, by attacking, and by defending, right? You play through the game. So that's basically how you play Unmatched by Restoration and Mondo Games. I hope you guys enjoyed this. As usual, help us grow this coalition by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm Steven. I'll see you later, everybody. Bye.